and their name is called the High Desert Pipes and Drums, and they are the only band to win this competition in the world of bagpiping. So it's just so beautiful up there. This year there weren't any elk, which I was surprised. Usually there's elks running around also mating season, but they don't seem to bother you if you don't bother them. And they also have the jousting. I'm actually personal friends with Charlie Andrews, who's the #1 jouster in the world. So if that's something you're interested in, go to his Facebook page, Knights of Mayhem, and you can also go to the National Geographic and look up Knights of Mayhem TV show. They had a show on there for 1 year, and I'll tell you what, DJ Smooth, is a very difficult competition. They wear 130-pound suits of armor. When they're knocked off, they actually have to be helped back up onto their horses.
Oh, my good. 130 pounds on their body.
Yes, and can you imagine they joust in the wintertime? Sometimes they have some pretty serious injuries. This isn't like your, the displays of jousting that used to have at those little theaters, Renaissance.
Right,
this is real jousting. It's an extreme sport. It's one of the most difficult sports that are around today because you have a 1,200-pound horse, and then the jouster holds a 12-foot lance that's sharpened at the tip, and they have a shield that they hold up, and it's very fascinating. You could go onto YouTube and check it out, and they call it hitting the ground when they get knocked off the horse. And
yeah, you do hit the ground. I mean, your body weight plus an extra 130 pounds. My
exactly.
Goodness.
Yeah, and then I've actually seen Charlie break his hand and just duct tape it back up, put his glove on, and get back on his horse and go. And the thing that I really admire about Charlie is that he helps girls in boxing. He's also a MMA fighter, and he trains women, and he lets women joust in his group, so there's no prejudice there. If it's a sport that women are into, they're welcome into his club. If you've got what it takes, he'll let you in. So I have a lot of admiration. Currently, when I last checked, Charlie was still #1 in this event. There's a purse at the end of it. So they're actually competing for money. And this is one of the biggest competitions in the United States. So that's pretty interesting. I mean, and then the food up there is so good. And then my favorite Scottish band was their Albanoch. Now, Albanoch is tribal Scottish drums and pipes, and they have a new addition. His name that comes from the band Brother, and Brother broke up, but the main guy from that group plays the didgeridoo. So that is something you can also check out on YouTube if you're into Celtic music and entertainment. Now, next on the list, guess who's coming to Red Rocks? September 17th, Dave Chappelle. And the night before, on the 16th, he's going to be playing at the Colorado Springs Pikes Peak Theater. So I don't know if there's any tickets left to the Colorado Springs show. You'll have to call Ticketmasters and check for availability. But what I would like to say about Dave Chappelle is, this is kind of a comeback tour for him. And so I went in and I actually saw him one night because I'm in the group of comics and have my ear to the ground. I've seen him, luckily, one night when he snuck into the Comedy Works, and it was pretty interesting to see Dave after all these years. He kind of went away for a while, and I even checked on the internet, and there was a review from Rupert Hosky, who saw Dave at the Apollo. Now, that's like the hardest place to play. So he said that Dave Chappelle is still tight, relevant, and unapologetically crass, and that the comedy world needs him, and I have to agree with that. I respect him because he walked away from a $55 million payout from the networks because he was not willing to compromise his values. He holds the record for DVD sales, and you're going to find this interesting, DJ Smooth. He was actually booed in your hometown of Detroit, and the audiences were demanding their money back. Now, this is on this is on this comeback tour. But in his defense, he says, "Hey, I'm like Evel Knievel. I get paid for the attempt." And you gotta love that. I mean, sometimes the audiences are hard, or sometimes the comic just has an off night. It It can be a matter of anything, but
It really could.
overall, I have to say for me personally, Dave Chappelle is one of the most respected artists in my book of people that I really look up to as heroes, because he wasn't willing to walk away or to compromise his values, and he didn't want to put on a dress. Now you can go onto YouTube and check out his interview with Oprah Winfrey, and he said what goes on behind the scenes in Hollywood. And I just look up to him and Tupac. They kind of went against the system. They retained their identities and who they were. They weren't sellouts, and to that I applaud them. And I say buy his tickets. I'm looking forward to it.
Oh, yeah.
Now we got another exciting thing. Our former guest that we've had on the show before, that was one of our favorite shows, Ed Giovanni, will be here with us in the studio September 27th. And he is currently at the Laugh Festival, where comics compete for $10,000 in a night of comedy. Also, our local comic here, Dylan Ames, is in that show. And Dylan was actually offered a position to open for Louis Anderson in Las Vegas. But you have to be really clean to do that show. And so,
Right.
he doesn't have enough clean time because this is like family clean, and I love Louis. Louis is a genius. He's so funny, but I just thought that was an honorable mention I love Dylan. He's so funny. He's like a one-liner king, just boom, one after the other.
Right.
Brilliant writer. But back to Ed. He's working on a comedy show for True TV, and he actually announced that first here on Sunday Jazz
Yes,
Brunch
he did.
with DJ Smooth and I. Yeah, so we really appreciate that. We've had a lot of first announcements on this show.
Yes, we have.
So that's something we're pretty proud of. But anyway, they're competing for $10,000. And another thing we'd like to bring up about Ed Giovanni is he has a special cause. You can go onto Facebook and look for Joe's Walk for Change. And Joe was actually a guy who had a son who was bullied. And he walked across the United States and back and was hit by a truck, unfortunately, which in a way, sometimes God has reasons for things. And when you have a situation like that, it's kind of like an artist that goes in an airplane into the mountain. It brings up your heroism and your status. And I think in my mind, I'd like to think that's why that happened to him. But the writers for Brokeback Mountain are actually making a movie about Joe. And the interesting thing about Ed Giovanni is he actually hung out with Joe the last 3 months of his life, and he is hoping, and let's all pray for our Joe, that he gets a part in that movie. So that's interesting. So also, let's see here. Voodoo Comedy Bar is going to be offering classes, and you can find them on Facebook. They do improv classes. So if improv is something that you're interested in, I would recommend that you go online and look that up, because there's a lot of fun things to do around town. And if it's something that you want to get interested in, you can go there, practice. And this is a really good group of people. I highly recommend them. Their classes are starting soon, around the 20th. So you still have time to sign up for that. And so that's a lot of fun. And then every Wednesday, there's a bar in Fort Collins called Yum Yums. And they have amateur comedy contests where you can actually win $100, and the runner-up gets a $20 tab. And you have to get there early because the sign-up times are at 8:45 and 11:45. So that's something if you're interested in and you want to actually win some money. Now, we know how broke you comics can get.
Oh, yeah.
So that's going on. And this is something I just like to personally recommend to new comics or anybody who's interested in this and you think you actually have some funny material. Now, it can't be you were drunk and somebody laughed at one of your jokes, because DJ Smooth, we all know those people.
Yeah, we do.
You have to have at least 5 minutes to start out on an open mic. So the important thing to remember is you want a strong opening, a strong center, and a strong finish. You want to write your jokes out. I suggest that you have at least 5 to 10 per minute. So that's something that you want to time out. Now, there's some people like Sinbad, who was just in town. He was here this last weekend. I almost had a chance to go see his show. My good friend Chris Fonseca is friends with him, but they sold out. They only have so many tickets. But thanks, Chris, for trying to get me in there. And just short note on Chris Fonseca, he's going to be appearing on Showtime on October 20th, so we're really looking forward to that. Chris Fonseca is another comic who has come back. He was really popular in the 80s and 90s, and then he laid low for a while. That happens, you know. Sometimes when you're a movie star, your star burns bright, and then you go lay low for a while, reinvent yourself, and come back out with some new material. So I saw Chris a couple weeks ago. Ricky Ramos has a show in Dacono, and he'll have another one coming up, and I'll announce that next week. Chris Carlton's going to be on that show. He's one of my favorite local comedians because he's a guy who puts together showcases for new comics.
Right.
So we appreciate that, Chris. Thank you for all your
Thank
hard work,
you.
giving a stage to the comics.
And you say Ed Giovanni will be back on the
7th.
So we are going to have Ed in the studio.
Yes, if that's okay with you,
people,
DJs.
of course it's okay with me. Like I tell you before, you line them up, I'll knock them down.
Yeah, well, you know, he loves you, and he told me, he said, I really want to come hang out with you guys, and we're going to have some more pizza.
A good deal. And, you know, some folks, just like last time, it's going to be a hoot and a holler.
Oh, we had such a good time.
Oh, you're talking about laughing. We may not get through the interview for, you know, laughing at jokes, but that's all part of having comics on. It's just that way, and I love it.
Well, you know what I like about Ed, too? He really does a lot of work for the vets. And DJ Smooth and I, now this is a big passion for us. We are out to help the veterans, and we are doing everything in our power to get information for everybody, which is another thing that you can go to our Facebook page for. I also just found and posted a list of, actually there are people, if you were enlisted between 1957 and the end date, I believe, was around 1990 somewhere. I'd have to recheck that, but you might be eligible for more money. So that's something important if you want to come to our Facebook page and look out. They're redoing numbers and anything to get the vets a little extra cash in their pocket.
Oh yeah. And every veteran deserves. You know, quite honestly, this is just me, mind you. You know, again, opinions are like rear ends. Everybody got one, and most of them stink. Oh heck, all of them stink.
They all
do. Hey, say that. But I believe that anyone, male or female, that went and served our country, when they come back here, they should want for nothing.
I agree exactly with you. And one thing that DJ Smooth and I have discovered in our research is that one thing that the vets are wanting for is help with PTSD and suicide prevention, which if they go to certain entities, sometimes they are having their rights taken away, their gun rights, their banks are taken over, their bank accounts, and this is really disturbing to us. So we have gone out, and DJ Smooth has really been, I appreciate so much that he is approving of me to go out in the field, do some field work, do some research, and because of that, we have the mayor of North Glen and Chief Doug Goodfeather
coming on the show as well.
Yeah, they're going to come and speak with us about these issues. Now, the thing that's cool is Chief Doug Goodfeather, he has a church called the Four Winds Church, and on Tuesdays and Thursdays they have PTSD meetings there for vets and the homeless. So to Doug Goodfeather, God bless you, sir, and your service. We appreciate so much that you have the veterans come in, and I attended a meeting with the mayor and the Doug Goodfeather, and that's why DJ Smooth and his Lady Queen were in Detroit, but he's going to meet up with them shortly soon as well, and any information that we can get. But we did find a place for the vets to go.
A good deal.
So that we were really happy about. And also I'd like to say that Flatirons Church has a very big ministry, and they also help with the military as well. So
that's what I like to hear there.
There are programs out there. It's just a matter of getting out there, doing a little homework. But, you know, sometimes, hey, I've been depressed, and I need somebody to help me think. so that's what we're here for. And, sometimes you just need a little reference or a good referral to something.
Right.
So in our due diligence and our homework,